this gathering even more balanced, it seems we must have something in the middle. Please call forth the candidate.
The crown now calls the Honorable Lord Albrecht von Trier.
Your Majesty, now comes before you Albrecht von Trier, Ferdinand of the Ehrenfeld, companion of the Torse, Huskarl of the Ehrenhirt, bearer of the king's favor from the hands of Christopher Kenzer II, bearer of the king's favor from the hands of Oswald Conrad von Riesentoten II, companion of the sword of Callantyr, sable lion of Kerta, warlord of the barony of Kerta, and defender of the stag's blood.
Your Majesty, this is a truly noble man who stands before us, and we have business with him this day. Yet we cannot take this business until you have finished the business of your own. It is meet now that you would have words with your squire. Thank you.
Albrecht, you have now something that is mine that I must have back. And you have given me something that I must give back to you. You have served me as faithfully as any knight I have ever led for all these many years, since the days before I ever wore a belt of white. You have always been true to your oath, but you cannot go down the path that you are about to travel unless you are a free man, free to offer his fealty to his true liege lord. Therefore, at this time, I release you from your oath to me. And I take this belt, given to you as a token of our bond, and I return it to you as a gift that you may continue your own life as your own knight. You are free.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Albrecht, come now before us and hear what it is to be a knight. Your Lordship, in the beginning, no man was higher in birth than any other, for all descended from but one mother and father. But when envy and covetousness came into the land, and might triumphed over right, so that the weak needed defense, certain men were called forth to defend the weak and to mete out justice. Melees they were called, for 1 man in 1,000 was so chosen. You have stood vigil this day and heard what it is to be a knight. Are you now prepared to continue with this solemn ceremony and this awesome responsibility?
You still find me worthy, sire.
I find you most worthy. This is the chain of the new knights of the Outlands. It has passed through many hands. Many links have been added to it. It is an awesome weight and an awesome reminder of the order which you are about to embark. Let it pass once again from hand to hand among those knights here present, that they may be reminded of their own time before the crown and pass some of that wisdom on through their hands to you.
Good Sir Robert, as the Knight of the Society, Do you affirm that Albrecht has grown in skill of arms and chivalrous grace?
Do you, Vince?
Mr. Son.
I believe you guys will.
Oh, sorry. David?
I do have a few words,
Go.
which is rare for me. It's been my pleasure, Commander, to know Albrecht for the last year and a little bit. When I first met him, I was on the field with Strand, and I was watching him fight, and I was so impressed I went up to him and wanted to talk to him to find out who his knight was. And he explained it was His Majesty Conqueror. And in that conversation, he was one of the most humble people I've ever met, because I was talking about his prowess and everything he was doing. And it amazed me today when we were doing the ritual, bathing, and what you addressed with him was his pride. And I can tell you that the man I know, who I've known for the last year, who I've fought with on every battlefield that we possibly could, who has stood next to me and defended me over and over, does not have pride. He does. It hides it, maybe, I don't know, but he is a humble man. He, every time I've asked him how he wants to fight, I'm a spearman. I'm like, I need a shield. Great, I'll go kill everybody for you. And he does that. He does it well. He's been my warlord. He's been my friend. And Your Majesties, you do a great thing today. It's my honor to speak on behalf of the Order of the Chivalry for the Outlands. We agree that this is a good thing.
Mr. Sana, as a mistress of the laurel, speak to us of Albrecht's support, knowledge, and abilities in the arts and sciences.
I will. Thank you, Your Majesties. I hope to be efficient in my endorsement of Albrecht. However, I have so many things to say about his contributions. Aside from being an honorable fighter and a soldier in the Outlands Army, he brings glory to his kingdom as an artist, a tailor, and a servant to the crown. He has a great appreciation for the gentler aspects of our game, encouraging artisans, learning from them, and praising their gifts. If anyone had a valid excuse to avoid participation in certain activities, Albrecht would be him. But the thing that proves his worth to me as a peer of the society is that he is undaunted by a challenge. He's well-dressed, well-traveled, and well-spoken, making friends easily across kingdom boundaries. The Outlands is very blessed to have him, and I'm certain that Callantyr misses him. But we can rejoice together in knowing that he will be a knight of the society. One of the most important things that a peer can do is bring joy to those around them, infusing others with their passion, inspiring newcomers, spreading smiles, and just making things better. On a very personal note, Albrecht has brought immeasurable joy and support to his lovely lady. And seeing her happiness is the best endorsement for me. To that end, I wholeheartedly recommend Albrecht to the Order of Chivalry.
Master Andrixos, as a master of the Pelican, tell us of Albrecht's dedication and service to the Outlands and her people.
The Pelican is the peerage of service. I speak from my own personal knowledge and experience of Albrecht's easy granting of service. His favorite greeting to anyone is, "Hi, how can I help?" Service freely given is the hallmark of a peer, not just a Pelican, but a peer of any sort. In that way, Albrecht exceeds so many. On the field of battle, he is soon to be a knight, a commander, a leader of men. A leader of men must have those who will follow him. In the field of service, he is not always foremost of leaders, but he is the most dedicated soldier of servants. And I would challenge you in this way only. As you lead men, learn also to lead servants. Your eyes are clear on what is needed. May your leadership help others see the way. On behalf of the Order of the Pelican, of both Callantyre and the Outlands, I endorse this man fully and say he is truly a peer of the realm.
Gentle peers, we thank you for your wise counsel. Truly your words have moved us and moved Albrecht even more deeply. Bring us lightning. This is lightning, sword of kings. Albrecht von Trier, you have been deemed fit by your peers to join the high estate of peerage and enter into the order of chivalry. You have indicated your willingness to accept knighthood from our hands. Will you now swear your knightly oath? Do you swear by all that you hold holy, true, and sacred, that you will honor the kingdom of the Outlands and your order?
Yes. By my honor, I swear to defend the crown and kingdom of the Outlands, with all of my being and body, until death take me, or until the world ends.
Will you honor, defend, and protect all ladies and those weaker than yourself? Will you be courteous and honor your peers of the chivalry and of the laurel and of the pelican?
Yes. Will defend the innocent and honor the peers of the realm.
Will you conduct yourself in all matters as befits a knight, drawing your sword only for just and noble cause? Will you enshrine in your heart the noble ideals of chivalry, to the benefit of your own good name and to the greater glory of the Outlands?
Yes. I shall keep my sword honed to always be a symbol of the noble ideals and virtues of chivalry. I shall only draw it in defense of my crown, my lady, my name, and the glory of the Outlands.
Then, having sworn these solemn oaths, do we, Garrick,
And me, Yasmin.
by right of arms and grace and favor, King and Queen of the Outlands, do grant thee now the accolade. I dub thee once for honor. I dub thee twice for duty. I dub thee thrice for chivalry. Rise now, Sir Albrecht.
Lady Aurelia, you have a belt.
I believe the belt has hands to pass through.
Accept this belt of white, which shall symbolize the purity of your order. As a knight of the Order of Chivalry, know that to be a knight is to exemplify to all people the courteous graces and to aid all who turn to you in need. Wear it always with great pride and great humility.
Wear this belt as an outward symbol of what you protect and hold dear. May it serve to remind you of the vows that you swear this day. Accept from our hands this chain, passed from night to night. For each night is a link in the honor of our realm. It symbolizes the fealty of each knight to crown and kingdom and of yours. Know that this chain and this order are only as strong as its weakest link. Never forget the burden of this chain. As you can see, this chain is a great burden, and it perplexes many, ourselves included. Let its weight remind you, always, of this day. Let the foibles of putting it on remind you that nothing will go perfectly. Let the joy of its weight remind you that you are among friends. Sir Bela, you have spurs for Sir Albert?
I do, Your Majesty. Albrecht, in former times, knights rode forth to dispense justice in the name of the crown. The knight would use their spurs to goad their warhorse into great deeds of valor upon the field. It is the spurs that are a symbol that symbolize a man as a knight. Not his sword, nor horse, nor armor. Even when destitute, a poor knight would part with all others things before their spurs. Take these spurs now, which shall symbolize your devotion to the high ideals of chivalry. Wear these spurs to inspire yourself and others to great deeds of valor and virtuous acts. Never let them be hacked off in shame or degradation.
A knight should be armed with a sword. Sir Bohemond, you have a sword for Sir Albert?
The sword is the weapon of a knight. Divine in origin, earthly in purpose, and grim in justice. When Parsifal was a young boy, he won his first contest with a deadly toss of a javelin. As a man and knight, he took sword and lance to earn renown everlasting. The sword is of the earth, as we all are, and shall return. It has no virtue. It is the master and his virtue which makes this the weapon of a knight. Note that the sword has two edges. The first cuts to the truth of the matter, for a knight must always seek the truth. With the other, you shall administer the crown's justice, but only after the truth has been ascertained. For without truth, justice will not be guarded. The scabbard counsels mercy, for crown and kingdom are ill served without compassion. Thus shall mercy protect truth and justice. Wear it always, and remain worthy of the duty this represents.
Take now this sword. Draw it only at need, to succor the defenseless, to come to the aid of those weaker than yourself, to administer our justice.
Know that your sword must ever be offered in the vindication of innocence and the defense of virtue, for a knight must always champion what is good and true. Who will speak of the cloak of a knight?
With your permission, Your Majesty. Albrecht, this is the cloak of a knight. Many hands have gone into fashioning this coat, just as many hands have gone into fashioning you into the peer you have become. Know that as this cloak warms you in your times of need, let it remind you of the hospitality that as a peer, your kingdom is due from you. And remember that hospitality comes in many forms. It may be the sharing of a warm cloak, or simply the sharing of a warm smile.
Sir Albrecht, you are accoutred as a knight. You have been dubbed. We would have your fealty now.
Majesty, asked to swear upon lightning, sword of the kings of the Outlands.
Well should it be so. Bring forth our sword.
This day, do I swear homage and fealty to my sovereign lord and lady, Eric and Yasmin, my right of arms, king and queen of the Outlands, shall from this day forward, my liege lord and lady, will remain true in all ways and serve you faithfully. I shall defend the weak and humble. I shall make right triumph over injustice. As do I swear upon my lord's own sword, my belt, my chain, and the high ideals to which I hold as a knight of the Outlands. So say I, Sir Albrecht von Trier.
We do hear your oath and accept your fealty, and in return we give our pledge to you. We pledge to protect you and your rights as a peer and our knight. We swear never to call upon you needlessly, and we swear to serve as your lord and lady with justice and with honor. So swear we, Garrick, Rex.
Yasmin, Khat. Sir Albrecht, this is the first blow you shall receive as a knight.
Sir Albrecht, let this be the last blow that you receive unanswered, knowing that knighthood will bring you pain as well as pleasure, joy and tears. Knowing that a knight must be humble, I ask you now, bow your head. Sir Albrecht, you now know what it is to be a knight. Rise, and let the people see our newest peer. Let the proclamation be read.
I have heard tell of heroic deeds when armies stood arrayed against foes, of a Herreman proud wearing bright Hausberg, who stood in battle when stags shed blood and held shield walls with soaring Huskarls, his sight so clear, seeing all around him. No foe escaped his eyes, except that Landworm lurking in southern sands, luring wandering souls. Though he stood tall even after it struck, and he heaped ruin on other hosts with flickering spear and flowing blade, such as that Falkuning's own sword was given, and on fields where blood flowed to 3 seas. Yet once more did Albrecht von Trier stand before many hosts, breaking linden shields. There did Garrick König, gift-giving knecht, and Yasmin Königin called to their host that Albrecht be raised to his rightful station. Miles they named him, made by Svertlete. So on this feast day of St. Theotimus, in the 44th season since the stag first ran, is their word spoken, sealed, and witnessed.
Thank you. Sir Albrecht, 3 cheers for him.
For Sir Albrecht von Trier, hip hip! Huzzah! Hip, huzzah! Hip, huzzah!
Sir Albrecht, now would we ask of you your first duty. Will you lead us forth from this place of solemn ceremony into a place of celebration.
Yes, Your Majesty, it would be my honor.
Here closes the court of their royal majesties, Garrick and Yasmin, Rex and Platoon of the Outlands. Long live the king!
Long